Tonight's headlines: Philippines UAE Inc. Historic Labor Accord. Duterte to personally welcome arrival of AstraZeneca. Dismiss envoy to Brazil gets life ban from government service. COVID-19 cases in the country at 580,442. Philippines extends school year to July. NTC to verify compliance of ISP to stop online child porn. PSEi extends rally on vaccine optimism. And Meralco sees power rate reduction in March. Good evening. Today is Tuesday, March 2, 2021. I'm Miguel Palatagoran and this is Tribune News on Q. Here are the stories for this evening. The Philippines, the United Arab Emirates on Tuesday signed a historic labor agreement which gives greater protection to Filipino household service workers, according to the Department of Labor and Employment. In a statement, the DOLE said that both countries agreed at the conclusion of the two-day joint committee meeting to resume the deployment of HSW to UAE effective March 31, 2021. The deployment of HSW to UAE has been suspended since 2014. The Philippine delegation's head of JCM Labor Undersecretary Claro Arellano said that the new deployment scheme will now be covered by a unified employment contract that provides stringent measures to protect Filipino HSW pursuant to directives of President Rodrigo Duterte. Under the unified contract, both employer and the foreign recruitment agencies and the Philippine recruitment agencies are bound by joint and solidarity liability should anything happen to the Filipino workers. President Rodrigo Duterte will personally receive the arrival of the expected 3.5 million doses of AstraZeneca COVID-19 vaccine, presidential spokesperson Harry Roque said. Roque made the announcement 2 days after the government started its vaccination program using China's Sinovac vaccine. Vaccine czar Carlito Galvez Jr., however, said on Monday that the arrival of AstraZeneca vaccines from the COVAX facility has no definite date yet due to lack of supply. COVAX is a global effort led by WHO wherein wealthier nations pitch in to aid developing countries in battling COVID-19 pandemic, including access to the vaccines. Presidential spokesperson Harry Roque said that dismissed Philippine ambassador to Brazil, Marichu Mauro, has been perpetually banned from public office and will not receive retirement benefits as a result of her committing physical abuse against her household help. Roque made the announcement less than 24 hours after President Rodrigo Duterte announced Mauro's dismissal. Mauro's physical abuse of her household help, who is also a Filipino, was caught on a video that has since gone viral. Mauro had been the Philippine envoy to Brazil since March 2016 and had been in foreign service since February 1995, and despite Mauro's dismissal, the Department of Foreign Affairs Chief Teodoro Locsin Jr. described her as a fine diplomat. Tribune News on Q will be back after these reminders.
Montero Sport. Elevate your journey.
Drive your ambition. Mitsubishi Motors.
Iba ng panahon, ang dami ng bago ngayon. Pati ang mundo natin, well, nagbago na rin. Buti ano bayan, bigger, better na. You can buy it sa centers, pati sa mga partners, may online pa at app. You can buy it with your fingers, still don't remittance and more. Online shopping, you can buy it all. Di magpadala, you can buy it all. Anumang pera transaction, you can buy it all. Sabayan ng pagbabago ng mundo for all your pera transactions, all new Bayad.
The Department of Health reported 2,067 confirmed coronavirus disease cases on Tuesday to bring the total number of infections in the country to 580,442, even as 8 laboratories failed to submit reports on time. The number of recoveries, on the other hand, rose to 534,463 after 144 more patients recovered from the respiratory disease, while the death toll is now at 12,369 with 47 new fatalities recorded. There are also 33,610 active cases undergoing treatment or quarantine. Earlier in the day, the DOH reported that 6 COVID-19 cases, 3 of whom are PSEi residents, were found to have the South African variant. Meantime, the Department of Education has extended the school year for basic education to July 10, 2021. In Depth Order Number 012, Section 2021, which amended the school calendar for 2020 to 2021, the department declared an intervention and remediation week from March 1 to 12 to address learning gaps among students and to give time to teachers for different learning delivery modalities. The department said it identified a need to address learning gaps in order to meet the required essential learning competencies. From March 1 to 12, the DepEd said schools should conduct interventions and remediation activities based on the unique needs of the learners as determined through the results of the different forms of assessment administered for the past 2 quarters. In other news, the National Telecommunications Commission will conduct inspections to find out whether internet service providers made actions to stop the proliferation of child pornography and other forms of online sexual exploitation of children. NTC Director Imelda Walsien said the agency has ordered the ISPs to give their side. Holding the ISPs and even social media platforms responsible for the continued presence of OSEC is not easy, said National Bureau of Investigation Anti-Human Trafficking Division Chief Janet Francisco. State Counsel Aguirrean Medina of the Department of Justice Office of Cybercrime attributed the incapacity of ISPs to disclose subscriber information relating to the identified IP address of the perpetrator to technical limitations. We'll pause for a short break. Stay with us.
Araneta City, home to the country's first indoor shopping mall, the world's original Thrilla, and the first ever Bini Bini pageant. Now a place for your first win, your first catch, your first home, your first big break, your first date, and even your first love. Araneta City, the city of firsts.
In business, Philippine share prices continued their rally on Tuesday amid renewed optimism on the country's economic recovery with the start of the rollout of the anti-COVID-19 vaccines. The benchmark PSEi gained 46.57 points or 0.68% to 6,919.54 at the closing bell. The broader all shares increased by 14.52 points or 0.35% to 4,179.92. The Philippines over the weekend received 600,000 doses of Sinovac vaccines as a donation from China, with the first batch of inoculations conducted earlier on Monday. More than 126.72 billion shares valued at 9.887 billion pesos changed hands. Decliners led advancers 121 to 105, and 44 issues were unchanged. And the Manila Electric Corporation is projecting a reduction in power rates this month due to lower generation costs and the impact of the refund order from the Energy Regulatory Commission. Meralco spokesperson and Vice President for Corporate Communications, Rosal Darriaga, said that based on initial projections, there is a strong likelihood that power rates for March 2021 will go down, which was earlier projected, and this will be the second consecutive month of decrease for the year. In February, Meralco slashed power rates by 7.04 centavos per kilowatt hour to 8,600,793 kilowatts per hour from 8,797 in January. Darriaga said Meralco's refund rate will be reflected as a separate line item in the bills of customers during the refund period. That wraps up the stories tonight. Catch the latest news on our website, tribune.net.ph, and follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And subscribe to our YouTube channel, Tribune Now. The Daily Tribune is one with the nation in facing the COVID-19 crisis. And in line with this, the Daily Tribune digital edition on Press Reader is now available for free online. You can also download the Daily Tribune app on Apple Store or Google Play to get the latest and most comprehensive news online. Daily Tribune is also inviting everyone to join its community Viber Katribu to get updates on the freshest and hottest news and entertainment stories of the day. Torcito emoticons are also available on our community Viber. Just visit the sticker store on Viber and search for Katribu. Before we go, I would like to thank the SM Store and the Araneta City for their continued support. Again, this is Miguel Paltagonon and you're watching Tribune News on Cue. Stay safe, stay healthy, and stay at home. Good night and God bless us all.
Viber is the free and secure way to connect with friends and family, anywhere. Send messages and make phone and video calls for free. Download Viber now.